everyone. Welcome back to Cincinnati Zoo Tales. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark. Thank you to everyone out there for tuning in to another episode of Zoo Tales. There's no guest today. It's just me and Jenna. You're stuck with the two of us, so hopefully you guys are all right with it. But we've got some fun things to talk about today. Got some hippos to talk about, some updates. Someone just had a birthday. There's training developments, all kinds of stuff. It's always crazy over there, Jenna. You're the one dealing with it. So you getting through it okay?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I have the hardest time coming up with as many exciting updates as we used to have, with Fritz being born and, of course, back when Fiona was young. Because they are pretty steady at this point. There aren't a ton of changes going on.
Which is a good thing. Yeah. Stability is good.
Definitely, yes. But yeah, there's some things that we will repeat that I'm sure we've talked about before. But just to give everybody a little update on the hippos, we know they're some of our listeners' favorite animals to hear about. But Fritz just celebrated his... Well, by the time this comes out, I guess it won't be just. But on August 3rd, he celebrated his golden birthday.
Still within a month.
Yeah.
Like, you're in that month window,
true.
right? It's basically still his birthday.
We love to celebrate all birthday long, right, Angela? Sorry, that's a shout out to Angela who loves to celebrate birthday month. But Fritz definitely got to celebrate his third birthday. I can't believe he's 3 years old.
That's
Sometimes
crazy.
It feels like he should be way older than that. Other times I feel like he was just born.
I'll say, you think he should be older than that? I feel like he just turned 1. Like, I feel like this was his first birthday with us.
Sometimes it is kind of crazy to think he's 3, but he finally stopped nursing this year. I think he nursed all the way past 2 years old, so BB gets a break finally.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She needed a break.
And I'll never know the last day it happened. It just finally stopped being observed. But Fritz is doing great. I think he's so similarly sized to Fiona these days. It can be tricky to tell them apart.
I was about to say, there was a split second for the first time. It's probably been 2 weeks ago now, where I was in the barn and they were coming in and I just glanced up, and in that split second glance, I misidentified them.
Yeah.
And that hadn't happened to me yet. And I was just like, what the world is happening right now? When did he get to be Fiona's size? Would you have an update weight for us? Like, what's his latest weight at?
Well, so his latest weight is just under 1,700 pounds. And so he's still almost 1,000 pounds smaller than Fiona or lighter than Fiona, but he's just as tall as she is.
He's tall, yeah.
I don't think he's quite as long, and he's definitely not as round. Fiona is a little pudgy at the moment, so she is on a diet. We've decreased her diet, and she's right around 24, 35, I think was her last weight. And we'd like to see her probably in the 2,300s, maybe a little less, depending on who you talk to. So she's got a bit of a belly on her, and while I'm not judging, we just want to make sure that she, is living her healthiest life.
Yes.
Doesn't have joint issues, and we don't have to worry about her health in the future. So we want to make sure we get her weight down a little bit. So he's still just around 1,700 pounds. Not, he's still quite a bit away from her, but he really is like just as tall as her. And her face is so thin compared to BB's that like Fritz's head almost looks the same size.
He's filling out, yeah.
And they both have like a lot of like coloration behind their ears. So I feel like it's kind of easy to like, unless you're looking at them side by side, to like, it's easy to get them switched up. But
and especially, I feel like a lot of visitors are still like, or starting to, I should say, misidentify them in the pool as well.
Yeah.
And it can be that pool distorts your vision. You're looking through the glass and looking through the water. I've always found the pool to be a little bit tricky, like to look through there.
I feel like people always question how many hippos are out there. Like at least once a month, I get are there 3? Are there 5? Or how many are there?
It's an optical illusion.
Yeah, it definitely is. And yeah, telling them apart underwater is even more difficult. But also sometimes BB and Fiona look similar in size to me, and I'm like, wait. And it takes me a second to, especially in a picture underwater or something where I'm not there in the moment to see it. But Fritz still gets to have his beautiful skin. He is still the golden boy, so BB doesn't discipline him very often, if at all. So he doesn't have any scrapes or scars or scratches like Fiona and Tucker do. So that's one way you can tell him apart still. But definitely he's doing well. He still likes to play. He still likes to train. He's, probably the quickest learner that I've gotten to work with. Maybe it's because I started with him so young and it feels like he accomplished so much over time, or like I got more comfortable with what we wanted to train hippos. And so I'd, done it with BB and Fiona or whatever. And this time it's just like, oh, I've done this before.
You've gotten more efficient, through training over time.
Yeah, but he definitely seems to pick up on things super quickly. So he cracks me up. Like, when we're training with the other hippos, he always gets as close to us trainers as possible. And he's recently started like grunting or snorting when he's
it's like
watching.
He's begging for
Yes,
food or something.
he's so upset that he is not training. And that's really exciting as a keeper, like to know your animals want to participate in training. And it feels like he's just over there impatiently waiting for his turn. So ever since he was little, he started just laying down right next to the gates, and his little feet would slip through, and he always faces the keepers. Now, when the other hippos lay down, they usually like lay on their side with their side against a gate rather than their feet pointing like
out forward.
Towards it. So I recently decided to try and train him a down behavior, so asking him to lay down, which I've been working with BB since 2016, and I've like, I just don't know how I will get her to do this. And with him, he got it within one like training session. So he's just super smart, but he also
incredible though.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's because he's young and he's lighter and it's easier for him to get up and down, but he just naturally would lay with his feet facing towards a keeper. So I basically just made him get impatient enough where he decided to lay down and face me, but I just kept waiting for the behavior and then clicking and rewarding when he would do it. And then I'd throw something so he'd get up, and then I'd kind of make him do it all over again. But within like 5 times of him laying down and me clicking, he seemed to understand when I asked him for down. So I feel like he learned really quickly. BB recently learned it, but she didn't catch on as quick, and it took a few like actual 20-minute training sessions before she learned it. But Fritz just seems to pick up on things so fast. So he's very fun to train. And with that behavior, like I mentioned, his feet stick out from under the gate. And we had started blood draw training from Tucker's tail, and it was very difficult to get him in the right position because he's so big. We can't put him in our chute. He's too long to have it where a gate can be closed safely in front of him so we can feed him and reward him properly, and also close the gate so he can go behind and hold his tail. And it was just a lot. And I've seen other zoos do blood draw from the foot, so I was like, oh, Fritz is just putting his foot out. It's beautifully there in front of us. We might as well see if he'll let us do a blood draw.
Take advantage of it, yeah.
And within one session, I was poking him with a blunt needle with zero reaction from him. So the hardest part about the foot is the vessel is much smaller. So you have to use a smaller needle, and it's a slower flow and all of that. So we actually, our vet tech, Amy, comes over and trains pretty much every Tuesday that she's available. And she decided to try and use an ultrasound first. So we were able to ultrasound, find the vein, and like poke him and figure out where it was. And then the next time she came back, we tried for blood, and he did fantastic. And there's a video out there for anybody who hasn't seen it of Fritz and his blood draw training. And it took, I mean, maybe 5 sessions between the lay down behavior, poking him with blunt needles, the ultrasound, and then the actual blood draw, where Fiona, like, we did it completely differently, and it was from her tail, which is a much more sensitive area, even though the foot has always seemed like I would never want a needle.
I wouldn't want to get poked there.
Yeah, it sounds terrible. So I've always thought that sounded horrible. But with Fiona, it was like a year, and maybe we took too long. Maybe we could have tried it sooner, but desensitizing her to the needle and everything took forever. And with Fritz, it was just like, he's got it.
Huge props to you, though, for being able to facilitate that and train that
you.
behavior so quickly. And props to Fritz, too. For,
I know,
he's just willing, like,
easy.
because I know what you mean as a keeper whenever you're in a training session. Like, there's always part of you that wants to say, like, can I push this? Can I try and go a step farther? Can I try and go a step farther? And in general, I think with, prey species, something like a kudu or a giraffe or a hippo, like, it's always better to just play it safe than sorry. You don't want to scare them. You don't want it to go too far. So I tend to maybe take a little bit too long because I want to make sure I don't push them too far, and then they have an adverse reaction and you take 2 steps back. But the fact that you could read Fritz and you guys had that relationship down pat where you're like, no, he's ready. He can do it. Let's go for it.
He's a tough boy. I'm very food motivated. Like I said, he just wants to interact with us and wants to do the training. So definitely the animal can make it much easier for sure.
So when you're training with Fritz, what are you using as a reward? Like what food motivation are you using?
For him, you can use just about anything. He's not picky. He'll do anything for lettuce. So during his blood draw, we were doing lettuce, and also like mixing in Timothy cubes are probably one of all of the hippo's favorite items. It's just compressed hay. It must have some sort of sweet. I don't know what it is about it, but they
smells
love it.
good.
It does smell good.
I don't know what all's in it, but it smells good.
They'll work for beet pulp really well. melon, of course. So when we're doing those behaviors where there has to be high trust and we're poking them with the needle, like even if he would do it for lettuce, which he personally would, it's like, we're going to give you big rewards for this. So the Timothy cubes, the melon, lettuce, and I can't remember if I had beet pulp that day or not, but yeah, he will work for just about anything.
That's super impressive, though. But
He's also just like really easy to work with in the sense that he's not afraid of new people or new things. So I remember like the hippos are also trained, or maybe desensitized is the right word, for radiographs. And when he was little, he was just like, yeah, I'll come out. You can have somebody next to me with a radiograph x-ray machine. You can have somebody with a little, why can I not think of the word, the board, the plate.
Yeah, the plate.
X-ray plate
X-ray
underneath
plate.
him or next to him. And he'll just stand there happily. So he's just like an easygoing hippo. Makes it fun.
I would say he's such a good boy. You did mention he just had his 3rd birthday. What did you do to celebrate for him?
So we've learned that the hippos really don't like ice. And over the years, we've made some beautiful, like, frozen juice and fruit and layered cakes. And while they look really pretty, the hippos will eat them, but they don't necessarily love them. And sometimes they'll even spit them out. Mark and I actually just, on one of the hottest days, it was like one of those days the real feel was over 100. We decided to go and get a bunch of ice from an ice machine the birdhouse has. And we took a handful of ice and I just held it over BB. Could she smell cold water? I don't know why she could feel the cold. She literally ducked her head underwater and swam away. And we've thrown in like ice pops, and as part of their enrichment, like we'll do things like freeze orange juice or something for them. And they'll like eat it. Not eat, they'll put it in their mouth and then they spit it out. So we're like, he doesn't want an ice cake, and it's his birthday. And so our coworker Kara had the good idea of doing like a layered watermelon cake. So I trimmed a watermelon, tried to make it pretty. It was a little rough, but we did a 3 or 4 layered watermelon cake with like, I had 3 green beans for his candles.
The green bean candles were so cute. That's a cute touch.
Beets in the shape of 3s and stars, and had like a little chalk drawing, and we all sang to him, and he has a video of that also. And then Kara made him another cake on his actual birthday that the public got to see. So social media, there's a video that we gave him his cake on Friday, I think before his birthday, and then he got one also on Sunday. So he got 2 watermelon cakes for his birthday. I think he enjoyed that.
I'll say he's spoiled. It's always been interesting to me, the fact that they haven't loved the ice treats. Like, I've always thought, if it's me, it's a hot summer day, like, give me a frozen popsicle. That's
essentially what it is. It is a popsicle, yeah.
That's so funny that you mentioned the ice treat day. I was going to mention that, too, because that was just such a disappointing day, I want to be honest. Because, it's like 110 degrees out. Jen and I walk over to get these buckets of ice. We lug them across the zoo. And I'm like, this really sucks, but at least the hippos are going to enjoy this. It's going to be worth it when we get to cool our hippos off with some good ice buckets. And Fritz actively was spitting the ice out.
Yes.
Like, he would, like, open his mouth and take some because I think he thought it was other food. And then he'd spit it out underwater. Fiona did the same thing, yep. And BB wouldn't even take a handful of ice from us. And I was like, it's an enrichment fail. We tried. Right. Our heart was in the right place. But
it spiced up their life for a few seconds. At least they're in the water, so maybe they didn't feel as hot and they didn't, want it as much.
Yeah, true.
I think Myrtle made it worth it. Our ostrich Myrtle seemed very interested in the ice, and she did some great crunches. It was very satisfying to listen to.
She was loving the ice chips. Hopefully it cooled her off, if nothing else. I know. We're like, this is a failure with the hippos. Let's see who else we can get these to.
I feel the guineas, and I think Icky checked it out. But yeah, the hippos are not huge fans of ice. Fritz, still, his favorite thing is a log, toys inside that unfortunately the public doesn't get to see because they could like totally scratch and ruin the view outside with the glass.
The glass,
yeah. He still loves his toys, but not ice treats. So we gave him watermelon for his birthday, and he seemed to have a good time. But yeah, Fritz is doing well. Oh, we should do an update, I guess, on where he's going, when he's going. And the update is we have no update.
Yeah.
You'll hear things or words we say get kind of flipped around. We don't know. Fritz does not have anywhere to go currently. There are no zoos in North America that can house an extra male hippo at the moment. So he is with us for now. So far, everyone is getting along. We're very lucky with Tucker being such a gentleman.
For sure.
He puts up with a lot, but Fritz also still does know that even though he tries to be the boss, it's almost like, a toddler trying to run the house. Like, he tries, but he's not really, he knows he's not the boss. So with Tucker gives him the right cues. Fritz will lay down, which is a sign of submission, or sit. So we know he still knows he's not the boss, but he tries to push Fiona around, and every once in a while gets sassy with his mom and Tucker, of course. But thankfully, they all get along well enough that we're not super concerned. The ideal situation would be he moves before there are any sorts of fights, or we have to start separating them throughout the day or something, because that just wouldn't be fun for the hippos, or having to keep some of them inside when it's nice out, that sort of thing. So we do hope he finds a home, even though we would love to have him here forever. But we hope he finds a good home in the next couple of years. But for now, Fritz does not have anywhere that we know of to send him to. So it's tricky to send a male hippo.
For sure.
There aren't a ton of hippos, there aren't some zoos with hippos. And then those zoos that do have hippos
already have a male.
Yes, you don't want to send a young male to potentially not get along with another male that already lives there. So good for us, bad for us.
I feel like it's going to end up coming kind of down to like kind of right time, right place type of thing. Like you mentioned, while he might be at the age currently where he could theoretically be sent off, we're lucky enough that there's no social issues. That can always delay an animal needing to go somewhere, as long as everyone's still getting along, and he is still submitting to Tucker, like you said. So fingers crossed that'll hold true for a while, and we'll be just fine. Because honestly, this might be selfish, but like, I'll take him here as long as we can have him.
Oh my gosh. I'll be a wreck when he has to go, but it'll be for the best.
That's so far down the road, hopefully, that we don't need to worry about it right now. I always just push the problems down the road.
Right?
We're not going to worry about that.
Deal with it then. But Fiona, she's 8.5 now. She is just over 2,400 pounds. Again, she's on a diet, hoping she gets a little thinner for her own health. But otherwise, she's doing fine. She gets a hard time every once in a while in the morning. She doesn't want to come in, but we're trying to figure that out, if it's social or estrus cycle related or what. But it tends to make everyone else laugh at my struggles. James from Aquatics is always cracking up when he tries to come and get the water sample from the hippos, and I'm just sitting there like frustrated, like, she's not in, you can't go out on the habitat.
Fiona, please come inside, please.
The divers are waiting in their wetsuits. It's 100 degrees, but otherwise, Fiona, I feel bad. I don't have a ton to update her about her.
No news can be good news. That's just fine.
Yeah.
We do have a question that I get asked a lot about Fiona is like, like you mentioned, she's at just over 2,400 pounds. She's kind of held steady there for a little while. Like, do you think Fiona's still growing? Do you think she's going to get to be as big as BB one day? Because, BB's 1,000-ish pounds more than Fiona. Like, is she going to get to her mom's size? What do you think?
I personally don't think she's ever going... Like, she's, I think, been holding steady at this weight or around this weight for a couple of years now. Like, I'd have to go back to remember specifically, because time just... I don't know what time is anymore. But, like, I think it's been years, and she is reproductively mature. I've read they can grow into their mid-20s, but it's, like, hardly like, it's...
The rate of growth is so slow.
It's so slow, point. You wouldn't even really recognize it. So I think she will always be small. I could be wrong. There's literally no other hippo for us to compare her to. Like, no other premature hippo to be like, oh, they had this giant growth spurt at age 15. We don't know what'll happen. But it seems as though she's done growing. And yeah, her body is just... Her skeletal frame, her face is much narrower than BB's.
For sure.
And she's... just not as tall or long as BB either. So I think she'll always be pretty small. But again, that's just a guess.
Yeah.
No idea.
I kind of think the same thing though. Like you mentioned, she has plateaued in her weights and everything. Like, I'm in the same boat as you. But it is, like you said, everything with her is unprecedented. This is all new territory. We're taking new data every day with her. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. But
yeah, we still do just training updates. We're... still doing just routine ultrasounds on her and BB to be able to confirm to the best of our abilities that the birth control dosage they are on now is working and that they are not pregnant. And we just recently did one. And
I'll say which we can confirm. As of last week, she is still not pregnant.
No signs of pregnancy, which is a good thing, because that would really mean Fritz has to find a fast track to somewhere else.
We're not ready for that.
We're not. And also with Fiona, it's one of those things we don't really know if we want her to get pregnant. Genetic-wise, we do. She is genetically valuable. Tucker was brought here for that, like, to happen potentially with that thought in mind. But we have to keep her safety in mind also. And while there are smaller hippos that have had babies, like around 2,500 pounds, I think, their frame might have been bigger with less of a belly. So her weight might have just, it's in different places. So that is not a conversation we are having. I don't foresee it happening for a really long time.
Yeah.
BB is still young enough that if we do want to have another calf here, BB is recommended to breed again in the future. So Fiona's probably far off, but that'll be a big decision between a lot of people, vet staff, crew, our scientists, our, animal management team, everyone. But right now she's still kind of small and we don't know what'll happen.
Yeah, that's another question I get. Like I have recently had a family member of like, when are you going to decide to breed Fiona? And I'm like, that's way above my pay grade. That is not a decision that I make or one single person for that matter makes, right? It's a conjunction with our veterinary team, our animal management team, then our keeper staff. We also get to give input on that. But that's, that's
and Hippo SSP.
SSP, exactly. Yeah, that's a multi-team decision that would be made if and when that time comes. And I hope one day we get there, but you never know, Fiona. She's petite, she's little, she's very short.
Yeah, she is short. Yeah, so that'll be something to come, but she's not pregnant right now.
Yep.
And we hope it stays that way.
No big news with Fiona, which to me is a good thing. No news is good news. What about with BB? Anything with her?
Well, she just recently learned the down behavior, which with her, I don't have a great reason for it, but it was something, she's very smart and she also seems to like training and she loves food. So it was just something fun to do and make sure that she's still getting all of the attention that, it's like, when animals don't have issues, you don't pay as much attention to them, but you aren't constantly thinking of like, what should we do next? Or how can we, what can we train next when they're already trained for a bunch of things? So it was fun to have something new just to work on with her. And that literally was just me sitting in front of her for 20 minutes with a head of lettuce where she couldn't reach it and just asking her to lay down randomly until she finally decided to lay down. And then I was like, click and yay, and, shove all the food. And then with BB, she is... Oh gosh, she's 25. She's about 3,400 pounds right now. And getting up and down, like a down behavior isn't the most easy for a hippo. No. Obviously they can't, but it's good exercise for her. But so then I'd have to toss something like behind her, make her get up, and then just do the waiting process all over again. So that took a few days before I think, like she would lay down over and over a few times, but like,
to make the connection,
I don't know that she connected it. Yeah, her just was working out. So that was what we call capturing a behavior. That's how I captured her sitting. Fritz doesn't sit very often. He either lays down or stands.
I never thought about it until you say that, but that's very true. Yeah, I can't think of the last time I saw him actually sit.
Me either.
Yeah, that's true.
So in order
Whereas BB does a lot.
BB, yes, almost immediately. If she has to wait more than 30 seconds, she's like, okay, I'll just
sit down.
So that was easy to capture. Where Fritz lays down all the time, so it was easy to capture that. With BB, laying down was trickier, but now she does face us, so who knows, maybe in the future we could come up with a reason that we need that behavior. But with Fritz, it works out perfectly. BB, she is the perfect size. She goes in our scale, or she doesn't go in our scale, but the same area that our scale is similar size to. We call it a back chute. She goes in there and she does blood draws like a champion. So we don't need to worry about doing it from her foot. But Fiona is definitely hit or miss with her tail. So also she has grown in the past couple of years in the sense of length, where it's tricky to get her in the right position where we could get a hold of her tail without a bar or like a gate in the way. So we are kind of, and she doesn't seem to like it very much with her tail. So we are desensitizing her to her foot at this point. I guess I could have given that update with Fiona. She's trained to lean in completely parallel with a gate. She's learned to come at a diagonal angle. She's now learning to put her foot really close to the gate. So she's a work in progress with blood draw. We've gotten it plenty of times on her until the last, I think, year or two now. We got it twice in a row in August and October, and then she really was just like, no, I don't want you to do this anymore. And it's also a blind stick, so even if a day she was participating and like totally fine with the stick, if you don't hit the vein, then you're out of luck and you don't want to poke her again, and then you have to wait to... Anyways, so the blood draw with Fiona is a work in progress. BB's great. She does the ultrasounds as well, just learned down. And then Tucker, he celebrated his 22nd birthday in May. Mm-hmm. He is about 4,600 pounds at this point and doing really well. He's, like I said, still a gentleman, gets along with everyone. We continue to work on his lower left canine, or his tusk, because it does not, his upper left one does not align properly with it. They should be like touching almost every time they open and close their mouth, self-sharpening. It should be flat on the back end, but it's not. So it puts pressure up on his gums. But his tusks are ever growing, and we use an angle grinder to like grind it down a millimeter, I'd say,
per
a
session.
So we're like neck and neck with how much it grows, I think, and how much we trim down, because the discs, the sanding discs we use actually get pretty worn down quickly with like his tooth.
Yeah,
dust.
like you don't want to use something
call
too
it.
abrasive because then it could be painful for him. So it needs
Yeah.
to be soft enough that it's not painful for him, but like rough enough that it actually takes material off of the tusk. It's kind of finding that balance.
Yes, and there are definitely zoos that use like little hand saws or what we call giggly wire, but this is what I feel safest with. There's no chance of like it getting stuck halfway through his tooth or the wire breaking or him walking away with something in his mouth. So it may not be the fastest way, but it definitely seems to be making a difference, and you know, it's safer. So
and he's been very cooperative. Like,
yeah.
He's been such a good boy with it. Like, as much time and effort as you put into the behavior, it paid off in the long run. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done really well with it. So he's doing well, and he definitely is on the back burner for the blood draw. So when we have time, summer is crazy. Trying to get the hippos out by 9 a.m., cleaning up after 4 hippos on habitat, getting all of them their hay weighed out. We are managing their hay a little bit differently these days, and making sure that they're eating it a little bit more separately so that Fiona and BB are not getting too much, and we can actually maybe have them be on a little bit of a diet.
And our growing boy Fritz is getting a little bit more,
Fritz needs
because otherwise
more,
he gets shortchanged. Yeah.
But his mouth is still small, so he can't eat quite as fast. So we are managing how we feed their hay with a little more deliberately these days. So they do eat together outside at night, but in the mornings we try and make sure they're each getting their similar amount, and or not their similar amount, their specific amount that they need, rather than, it's less of a free-for-all, I guess. So I forget why I brought that up, but
The summertime management, like it's just a little bit different. Yeah.
Summertime management is a little trickier, trying to get them out on time. The training, we don't have quite as much time. It's usually like 1 hippo per day gets like a good training session. And then also for summer management, it's really nice. We are able to have them outside. It could be every night of the week, but we choose to lock them in on Friday nights. BB and Fritz have one half of the barn with 2 stalls and a pool. And then Fiona and Tucker have 2 stalls and a pool in the other half. And that's to help for in the mornings. We have a bunch of volunteer divers that come on Saturdays. We want to make sure the hippos are in. The water isn't quite as
dirty. Still pretty dirty, but not terrible.
It's safe for humans. We always have our aquatics team check that, but it gives it time to settle and the filtration to work overnight, so the volunteers can get out there and help us keep that pool nice and clean and clear for everyone. But otherwise, the hippos spend all night together outside on habitat, and it's really fun for like our late night events. People get to see them, or overnights where the kids come and stay the night, and it's just nice for them to be outside more than inside. So their summer management is a little bit different, and then in the winter, it depends on the weather. You know, Cincinnati here, we could keep them out as long as it's like 50 degrees overnight. We can leave them out. But
so every day in December and January is different. You never know what we're always constantly checking our weather apps. Like, what's it going to look like in an hour? What's it going to look like?
Right.
Well, I feel like we are pretty spoiled though during the summertime. We're really lucky to have the exhibit, the habitat, and the facility that allows us to keep them outside during overnights, because at the end of the day, that's where they'd rather be, you know, like they've got the big, beautiful pool out there and they're able to use it. So.
And the beach, they'll sleep on land sometimes, so that's nice.
And Tucker just makes his way around the whole habitat and makes a mess of it for us to clean up the next morning.
For anyone collecting the pins, if you've seen Tucker, there's a pin made after Tucker, and it's probably my favorite pin, but his tail actually spins, because for anyone who doesn't know, male hippos will dung shower, which means they urinate and defecate all at the same time while, like, not spinning their tail, but
swishing
their tail very quickly, which is as strong as, like, my thigh muscle, I feel like, and just spread their dung everywhere to mark their territory. So Tucker does that, which means inside it can go on the ceiling, it can go everywhere. Outside, you know, it can be on the walls, or sometimes he does it towards the people on the glass. And it's like so close to going over the little open air viewing part. But we had those tucker pins and the tail spins on it. It's very cute and funny. And I was just really dedicated to getting an awesome video for PR. One day I was out there getting pictures of it, trying like spinning it with Tucker, and he hardly ever turns his back towards me at the like VIP training or tour wall, essentially, where if you've seen pictures of us feeding the hippos outside, that's what we call our VIP wall. And Tucker usually has his back end away from me if he's going to dung shower, but he was dung showering towards me, and I was just like, I'm all in. He was like 10 feet away.
You're like,
so
I don't care if I get hit, but I don't care.
And I was like, I'm gonna get this tail spinning pin going with him dung showering, because I don't think we've ever shared him dung showering on social media either, so it'd be maybe something interesting to show. I don't think they ever use it, which is such a bummer, because I really took one for the team for this.
I would say you sacrificed your body. You put your body and your clothes on the line.
So I'm filming it. He gets to like the very end, and it finally just comes at me. But I already have this like 30-second video going. I'm like, I'm just gonna stand my ground. I get hit. I'm not covered, but I have quite a few.
It's a layer.
Yeah, bits of hippo poop on me. And I went home and told Lincoln, I was like, guess who pooped on me today? And this was like May, I think, that those pins came out. And to this day, Lincoln will just randomly tell a friend, Tucker pooped on my mom once. Or I'll come home and I'll be like, did Tucker poop on you today? And he just thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. But yeah, that's one.
Hopefully these people know who Tucker is. They're going to like tell Lincoln's at daycare, telling all the kids. They're all like, well, that lady's crazy.
Yes. But yeah,
that's too funny.
Tucker's a very good boy, but he keeps us busy making a mess all around the habitat. So when he's outside, there's extra to clean up every morning. It was so easy when it was BB and Fiona. It was like 2 shovels full usually, because they would go they would go to the bathroom in the pool most of the time, which the filtration or our divers helped with. And then outside it was just like 1 or 2 shovels.
Oh yeah,
full.
he's easily double or triple the amount of time you spend cleaning up. In the barn too during the wintertime. Wintertime used to be like, all right, there's just 1 or 2 piles of poop in the corner, you just pick those up, good to go.
Now it's the gates, the walls,
hose
everything.
the ceilings, hose it all. Yeah,
I really wish we had a fire hose over there. Like
the
cleaning would be so much easier. But pressure washing is very satisfying now, thanks to him over there. But yeah, I don't know. Am I forgetting anything?
I'll say, does that cover it? I feel like we talked about all 4 of them. Nothing else I can think of. All of our training updates, Fritz's 3rd birthday, no update on him. Yeah, I think
they're all doing great, and all of their tours sold out, so they're still doing a ton of work for conservation. 50% of the proceeds from their tours go towards hippo conservation. Ugandan Wildlife Foundation, which protects the waterways there. Ugandan Waterway Foundation, that's what it is. Any animals living near the rivers or in the rivers, there are rangers that are patrolling them and trying to keep hippos and all of the animals safe. And then part of the money also goes to Volpro, which is a vulture conservation organization that does amazing work for vultures who are very endangered. So the hippos are truly making a difference for wild hippos and other animals.
Absolutely.
And everyone coming to the tours also.
Yeah, they truly are ambassadors for their species. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we've touched on it on a podcast before, but the Ugandan Waterway Foundation, we were able to have like a Zoom call with them, and they told us about how they used the funds that we were able to provide them with the hippo tours to buy a new boat, which was very cool and exciting. And
it's always nice to know exactly what your money goes
something
to.
That they really needed to help patrol those waterways and patrol those areas and keep poachers away.
Yeah, the hippos are definitely contributing to conservation in the wild, and I think that's amazing. It's unfortunate that it is so needed these days, but it's very cool to work with animals that are able to give back.
Absolutely, yeah. And I like to think Fiona would know.
Yeah,
she'd be happy to know. She's helping all of them.
Definitely,
she's like
for sure. But yeah, we appreciate everyone still loving the hippos, and they're still one of the most popular animals at the zoo. We thought the elephants and their new habitat might take over. I think. According to our behind-the-scenes team and like where tour requests are going, it's like half and half. They're neck and neck, I guess, with us, elephant and hippo. But then we have sea otters coming. Yep. We have the new
bears coming.
Oh yeah, the new bears.
Wolves after that. Yeah.
The otter pups, the small clawed otters. So it'll be interesting to see if the hippos stay like the number one.
Tons of exciting thing across the zoo, but I like to think hippos are going to hold the crown.
Yeah.
I think Fiona's going to hold the crown for a while. Yeah. She's the city's princess.
I know. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever die down too much. But
Well, I think that covers all of our hippo updates. Always enjoy chatting about it, but that does leave us with one last thing to finish up the podcast, Jenna. You usually ask this question, but you're answering it today. What can I do? How can I be a better steward of the earth? How can I be a better conservationist and look out for the environment?
well, on the theme of Tucker, and a little, the poop theme. Let's just be real. It's a huge part of our lives here at the zoo.
We do a lot of picking up poop, yes.
I was thinking, so something that we do at my house, or we have at my house, is a bidet. So that's a lot of personal information now everyone has. But essentially, I bought this probably, I don't know, over 7 years ago, I think, at this point, and it still worked. I think it was like $75 at the time. But essentially, what is it called? A Tushy, I think, is the brand I have.
It's like an attachment?
Sponsor us. No, sort of. So it's like you fit it to the back underneath your toilet seat.
Okay.
And then it somehow easily, but I don't know how, connects to like the water.
Like the water tank of the toilet?
Yes, exactly. And then it has like, depending on how fancy you get, like some of them play music and like have seat warmers and stuff. Ours does not.
Whoa. I need to look into this.
But essentially,
it's like a spa experience.
Yeah. It has a little piece that like hangs into the toilet and sprays fresh water from the tank when you turn a knob or press a button, depending on whichever one you have. So you can kind of control for anyone who doesn't know what a bidet is, it's like a hose
to clean you up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of countries use them.
I say they're very popular in Europe, I've heard.
Okay, yeah. They had them, I think, in Tokyo when we were there. But anyways, it saves toilet paper because essentially you're just spraying yourself off before you need to use any toilet paper after you use the restroom. And so it saves toilet paper, it saves money, it saves waste going down into, all of the sewers and everything. And yeah, essentially it's a way to reduce waste, and they aren't super expensive. I don't know what they are these days, but and it gives you a good clean.
See, I'm gonna have to look into it because if honestly, like toilet paper, you use a lot of it. It's expensive. It's not cheap to buy toilet paper. So even if this attachment, if it's reasonably priced, like that's gonna save you money pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah. Depending on how much toilet paper you use. It's all personal.
I gotta look into this. I do have a friend that swears by a bidet. I wonder if he has like a similar attachment because he has one at his house, but never used one before. So I feel like I've gotta.
You have to ask.
Gotta take the plunge, so to speak.
It's definitely my husband's go-to thing. He loves it. Like he picks the specific bathroom. He's gonna kill me for this.
I feel like we could make like a makeshift bidet for Tucker and just hose him off with a hose for Tucker.
Yeah. Just pull the hose out while he's going if we have it ready. But a silly but honest thing you can do is buy a bidet and use less toilet paper.
Use less waste. That's right. Any way to reduce, right? It all makes it. Every drop in the bucket matters. So
for sure.
I appreciate it. Heck yeah, gonna have to look into it.
I feel like that was a personal one.
Hey. It's what you do. You do it at your home. It's a way that you're a good conservationist. I respect it. Like, I respect you for being willing to share it.
Tucker inspired me to share it.
Oh, man. Well, thank you to everyone for tuning in to another episode. Hopefully you all enjoyed our hippo update. It's always fun for us to get together and just chat about our animals that we get to take care of. We're so lucky to be able to do it, so we always enjoy sharing it with everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully everyone is having a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Until next time, take care.